Last year, I had never owned a Button Shy wallet game, and I was skeptical on whether an 18-card game could be fun. But during a Black Friday sale, the print and play versions of a lot of the games were on sale for $1 each. So I splurged and spent a whole $5 to try out these games. Hi, this is Amber from Board Game Blitz, and the most I'd ever spent on a print and play game before was $0. And even though I'd played a bunch of free print and play games, some of which I enjoyed a lot, I was still skeptical of Button Shy's 18-card format, since a lot of the print and play games I played have more than that, or even if they do only have 18 cards, they also have other components. But with these games, it's just 18 cards, and that's it. So I was really happy when I found out that not only are these games fun, but they also all feel very different. So the print and play of these games aren't very hard. It's just 18 cards, so it was 3 pages, double-sided for me. It had taken me a while to get comfortable printing cards, but I finally was more comfortable printing double-sided cards with my new printer. I got cardstock, got a new Fiskars paper cutter that is really nice for this project. And so I printed them all out, cut it, and then it was just in time to bring on vacation because I figured I might want some solo games to play on vacation. And I actually fit all 5 games in this quiver. I actually got this quiver case for free foam quiver a while ago, but it works out nice for fitting these games in. So I took it on vacation with me. 3 of these games can be played solo, and 2 of them are multiplayer only. First off, Food Chain Island is a solo-only puzzle game. There's a grid of animals that are trying to eat each other. Each animal has a different number, and the higher numbers can eat the lower numbers. But you can only eat animals that are up to 3 numbers lower than you because you don't want to eat something super tiny. It won't give you any nutrition. But each animal also has a special power. When you eat an animal, you place the card on top of it, and usually it's only the ones next to it that you can eat. But when you eat an animal, like, they have special powers. Here, the next turn, the predator must move 2 spaces to eat. So if this one goes, then the next predator will have to move 2 spaces instead of just 1. So basically, you're eating up these animals in the grid, and then there's fewer spaces in the grid, but the grid spaces stay there. So you're trying to figure out the best way to eat up the animals in what order so that you can eat them all up. So this is a nice quick solo puzzle game. It takes like 15 minutes or less to play a game. And then another solo puzzle game is ROVE, Results-Oriented Versatile Explorer, which I will just call ROVE. This game is another solo puzzle game, but this one's a lot longer and more involved. In this one, the puzzle is a spatial puzzle where you're moving around these cards in a grid again, but you have these movement cards that give you movement action points. And each card in the grid has different ways it can move, like it moves diagonally only, or it has to jump over another card, and you're trying to get the grid into a certain pattern to complete missions. Also, the movement cards that you have, they have certain patterns that you have, so if your grid has that pattern, like if this blue is next to 2 other cards like this, then you get to use a higher number of movement points. So you're kind of trying to use your movement cards effectively and also complete missions and then not run out of cards. Each one of these cards, called a module, also has a special ability that you can use. So for me, this was a lot more thinky. It says it's only 15 minutes, but for me, it took me like 30 or 40 minutes to play a game. So this one, I think, has more thinking of a puzzle than Food Chain Island. Or maybe it's just a different type of thinking that I'm not as good at. But they're both great solo puzzly games that I could play on vacation. They do take up table space, so you do need a table and to be sitting down to play up. Another game that I did play solo, but I actually have played it multiplayer before, is Sprawlopolis, which is a cooperative game, or solo. In this one, you're building a city, so it's kind of a tile-laying game. You're overlapping the cards, and you're trying to get like colors matching up to be a big area of colors to score points, but they are also, on the back of these cards, there's scoring objectives. So each game is going to have different scoring objectives, so you're going for different things each game, like having a road that passes through both a residential block and a commercial block, the blue and the orange, or like other things, having a commercial block directly between 2 residential blocks, blue between the 2 oranges. So depending on the initial setup for scoring, you're going to be going for different goals. This is pretty much a solo game that can be played multiplayer, and multiplayer, I think you both have a hand of cards that you can play, so it's a little bit harder, but it's also a good solo puzzle game, and I did play it solo on stream, actually, so you can watch that playthrough if you want. But Sprawlopolis is probably one of the most famous Button Shy games, and it's good if you like little, like, tile-laying, city planning games. Alright, and then I had some multiplayer games. Tussie Mussie is actually one that I had played before with Crystal on stream, but I hadn't played a physical copy. So this game is designed by Elizabeth Hargrave, who you might know from Wingspan. But this is a 2-player game where you're getting bouquets of flowers. It's an I split you choose type game. So on your turn, you're going to have 2 cards to choose from. You'll look at them, and then one of them you'll place face down and one of them face up. And so the other person will see the face up card, and they'll either take the face up card or the face down card. And all of these flower cards score differently. At the end of the game, you'll have a row of flowers, some face up up and some face down. And so some of them score only when they're face down, or some of them score for other cards that are face up or face down. And so on your turn, when you're picking which one to do face up and face down, you kind of see what the other people have gotten and what their scoring conditions are for their face up cards. And so you're like, okay, they probably want this card. So do I want to put it face up or face down? And then like, which card do I want to get? And do I want it face up or face down? So it's kind of interesting picking that, and then the other person gets to pick which card they get. So I played this with my husband. I think it's actually the first print and play game I've played with my husband, and he liked it. So that's good. And then last up is Skulls of Sedlec, which is a 2 to 3 player game. I've only played this 2 players with my child, my 4-year-old child, because he really likes skeletons. And it's actually his favorite game. But it's not only good for 4-year-olds, it's actually ages 8+ on here. But this is a competitive puzzly game where you're building a pyramid of these skull cards. So each skull card has 2 skulls, one on top and one on bottom, and each of these skulls score differently based on how they are in the position. So you're building a pyramid, there's gonna be like cards next to each other and then cards on top. And so some of them score points for the ones below them, or some of them score them if they're adjacent or like touching each other. And there's gonna be 6 face down piles called the graveyard. On your turn, you can choose to flip 2 cards face up and choose one of those, or pick one of the ones that's already face up and take it for your hand, or you can place a card from your hand into your pyramid that you're building. So you can't do both. You can't take a card and place it, and the other players are going to be taking cards too, so you have to decide like, oh, do I really want that card? Do I want to take it now? Because if the other person might want it, or if they don't want it, then maybe you can wait and build your pyramid because you need to build it in the correct order. It wasn't too competitive with my kid because he didn't understand the scoring rules, and so like I could win pretty easily, but I could see this being very competitive with someone who's at my level and like actually trying to take cards that the other person needs and stuff like that. There is an expansion that lets you play it solo, but that's a whole nother $1, and I don't know if I can afford that. So that was my adventure into button shy games so far. I'm enjoying them, and it's great that they're like only $1 plus all the printing and stuff. These games are also available not for print and play, and they cost a little bit more and come in a little wallet. But if you do print and play, then these are super affordable card games that are lots of fun. Black Friday is coming up again this year. It comes every year. And I think they might have sales every year too. So maybe I can get some more this year. Let me know what your favorite button shy game is in the comments below, and maybe that'll be the next one I get. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye!